Hello and welcome to another episode of Spotlight Sessions. My name is Elon Fisher. I'm the host and I also head up on nonprofit partnerships at accessiBe's. Today I'm really excited to be chatting to Kyle Martin. Me and Kyle actually met close to a year ago actually through a mutual friend, Johnny Inman, doing awesome work. You're actually repping Johnny's company with your swag.
That's right. Look at that. Johnny's going to get a shout out. Got the Close Talk shirt on. He's been a good friend to me for over a decade now, and they're doing awesome stuff. So yeah, thanks for having me. This is cool.
It's my absolute pleasure. And just like we were talking about it before off camera, Johnny's ripple effect, just from a company and organization perspective, and the ripple effect that he's had and the inspiration that he's been has been phenomenal and also wide felt in both organizations. But enough about Johnny. The reason we're actually here is to chat a little bit about outdoor mindset. So Carl, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, about your journey, a little bit about your story?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I could talk half an hour about Johnny, but we could digress to that. Yeah, thanks for having us, Elon. This is awesome, man. And I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and then we can jump into OM. But I'm a bit of a nomad, if I say. I kind of grew up in Texas, and then I spent the last 20 years in Colorado or so, and now I live on Maui here in Hawaii. It's 6:30 a.m. for me, so I think we have a bit of a time zone difference. But I love being outside. I spend a lot of time on a surfboard or a mountain bike or a snowboard, and just doing that with friends and family. That's who I am kind of every single day. And then also spend time with my day job doing some human resources work with a company called Brown and Caldwell, which is an environmental engineering firm. Just feel really fortunate to be with that purpose-driven company. And then also Outdoor Mindset. I'm the president and founder of OM, and we started up with a group of friends about 12 years ago. And just look forward to chatting with you about it today, and appreciate being partners with you. We really believe in the mission and the work that you guys are doing. So thanks for having us be a part of it.
It's our pleasure, Carl, and I love the work that Outdoor Mindset is doing and its mission as well. Do you want to explain to those of us who don't know about Outdoor Mindset, kind of what was the founding principles, the ideas, and yeah, what is the organization?
Totally. Thanks, man. I mean, I'll start off with just kind of the core of what we believe in. We believe that community and being outdoors, being in nature has such a positive enhancement to quality of life for all of us, but especially for folks that are managing a diagnosis, have a brain injury or a neurological challenge. So we focus on those medical diagnoses, and we try our best to live our values and focus on those things, community and nature. And we do that by connecting folks from all over the world behind that belief through our Outdoor Mindset community. We connect people one-on-one and in groups to support each other, get outside together. We lead some local regional meetup groups, which is kind of an ongoing sustainable way of life to connect with others in your area with the Outdoor Mindset community and get outside together for a hike or a bike or a ski. Anything from as laid back and easy as going to the park together and just having coffee to extreme as backcountry skiing or snowboarding, just depending on your ability level and what you want to tap into. So we focus on those things. We have scholarships available as well. So if people need a little extra boost funding to tap into our community or into our meetup groups, we're happy to help where we can. So those are the main things we do. And we partner with a lot of nonprofits and great organizations like yourselves that have common missions where there's overlap and we can help each other out and drive towards those things. So yeah, we're just super grateful to play in the space and provide some help where we can.
That's epic. And tapping into kind of the benefits of being outdoors and being in nature and more the community aspect, I imagine, over the past couple of years, that's probably been quite difficult. But what are some of the effects that you've seen from being in nature and kind of having that community? Or maybe it's just, having a conversation without feeling like you have to have a conversation is really what's going through my mind, specifically for
That's
people
right.
who are going through something. It's best to just be with someone rather than being, I guess, forced into a conversation.
Yeah, man, you nailed it, man. And that's one of the things that we feel like really differentiates what we do. When we started, we wanted to make sure we weren't replicating things that were already out there. And there were a couple of things that we focused on. And one of those was, let's have the focus and the energy be on the outdoors and the passion and getting outside and connecting with people. So sometimes we'll be on a hike together and we won't even talk about a neurological diagnosis or a brain injury. for the next day or the next day or the next time we get outside, because the passion and the energy is tapping into being outside and in nature together. So like you said, just kind of, getting outside, stepping away from some of that, connecting one-on-one or in groups with other people. We've seen, and the research shows that that really helps with managing a diagnosis. You're not in it alone. You're with other people that understand it. If you have to go a little bit slower on this walk or this hike, no questions asked, no concerns. We all kind of get it. And just being surrounded by folks in that environment is a big piece of it. And then, you can imagine, like, all the research is there, and then we experience it personally, just connecting with nature and being outdoors, and how that affects your brain, psychologically, mentally, physically, how that affects you. The research is there. It just shows that it really helps, right? It helps your body, it helps your mindset, helps you understand that there's hope and optimism with managing any challenges. So those are some of the biggest pieces, right? And just tapping into community. Anytime things are hard, you can go for a hike, get outside, feel all those experiences, and then come back. When you're having a hard day, you can jump onto our groups online and just say, hey, here's what I'm struggling with. Can we get outside today? It doesn't have to be this start and stop outdoor adventure program. There's some amazing things and organizations that we partner with that do that. Our focus is the ongoing way of life, where every single day you've got a group that you can connect with and get outside with. So there's not a start and stop effect on it.
And how do people first get involved with Outdoor Mindset? Is it like somebody in the group, or are you advertising? How do you kind of meet those members who might not know that a resource like yours is available?
Yeah, totally. Well, I could start with my story if you're game for that. I
Yeah.
obviously have a super personal connection to this. About 12 years ago, I was having some diagnosis challenges and touching with doctors and trying to figure out what was happening. I was having some symptoms, and they were talking about all kinds of brain things. They were saying multiple sclerosis, or they were saying brain tumors, or cancer, or Parkinson's, all these things. And it was a scary moment. It was a scary moment, and eventually got diagnosed with a brain lesion on the left side of my brain. And I've been fortunate that what I did was I tapped in to family and friends, and I tapped into outdoors and community. Because for me, it was about, it wasn't necessarily about the extension of life or being concerned or feel fearful about that, but it's about quality of life. And I realized that when I was tapping into my folks, my family, my community, and getting outside, that's where I was getting the boost. And I surrounded myself with really great people and amazing friends and family, and those friends are the ones that helped us build Outdoor Mindset. And so what we realized early on, it was about, spreading the word amongst friends and family, spreading the word amongst doctors and physicians assistants, as well as other partners and nonprofits that you might tap into to get educational resources about that diagnosis. And so even today, we see the same folks come our way through those mechanisms, through online sharing of our stories, through friends and family. Those are some of the biggest, through partners like yourselves and other nonprofits, through doctors. Those are some of the big areas where people get diagnosed with something on day one, and the next day they want to say, how do I tap in and learn from other people and get outside and kind of manage this diagnosis as I combat it.
That's really awesome to hear, and I'm also curious to understand for people who aren't as ready to tap in, who might be taking that little bit more time to, let's say, open up with family, open up with friends. What's kind of your advice or go-to in cases like that?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, this is one of the things that we really try to talk about is the barrier to entry, sorry, is super low, right? Like there is no, overly cumbersome process to go through. There is no rush. There's no pressure. It's just when you're ready to tap into connecting with other folks and talking about what's going on and getting outside together, you just jump on our website. It's free. Join the community, and you get synced up with a general outdoor mindset community, and find a group local in your area and connect. So I would just say to your question, one of those things is let people in, right? Let people in, because folks that love you want to be around you and help you through this process. And then tap into the resources available to you, because there's so many things that you can do out there to help you through the diagnosis and connect with outdoors and the community around you.
What struck to me in that answer was you said the word "let people in," which takes me to kind of my next question, which was I ask everybody who comes on the spotlight sessions really what accessibility means to them, and I imagine access means very varying things to you, and also given your experiences. So, what does accessibility mean to you? How do you kind of define that?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this one a lot, Elon, and I think it's important that we define it, and we talk about that a little bit because words are important and powerful, and for me, it's about inclusion and access. And, you've probably heard the story that people use whenever they're thinking about diversity and inclusion about, getting invited to the dance is diversity, but then at the dance, being asked to dance is inclusion. That's the difference, right? Like actually being included in whatever you're being invited to, that's inclusion, and having access to be able to participate. So participation and inclusion for me is about access, and like how we can spread the availability for these things that we're trying to make available for folks and just reduce that barrier to entry we talked about. That's huge. And that's why I just love, Elon, what you guys are doing. Like we've been using your product on our website for, I don't know, now a year or so.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome. Every time I get on the website, I get stoked to see the button at the bottom right and just know that, hey, we're expanding access here. So that's super important to me. And I appreciate the focus that you and the team do.
And likewise, now I'm always learning, like a fortune every time I speak to you, and every time I speak to people kind of in this space as well. And one of the things I want to ask, and it's funny that you said that the words mean a lot, because I just got off a conversation right now, and I kind of checked myself back when I said the word success story. So because
Yeah.
success is such a broad term, it can mean anything to everybody. The smallest thing or the smallest movement can be a success to somebody, and the largest movement can be not a success to somebody. So I'd rather, I think I want to tailor this more towards what are some of the stories that you've met or outcomes that have come from outdoor mindsets from individuals? Has there been
Yeah.
any really notable stories that have come out?
Yeah, I love that you reframed it because what that did for me was I was thinking, well, it's less about, like you said, what are the five things that I want to hit on. It's more about what are the things that solicit the emotion that feels like, okay, we're on the right track here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple that come to mind. There's one person in Colorado that's been part of the outdoor mindset community for about 10 to 12 years. And I remember talking to her about 5 years ago, and she just had let me in, like we were talking about a little bit about how she was struggling with being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis like 15 years ago, and didn't understand that the way of life to connect to the outdoors and get outside with other people and continue hiking was going to be possible. And she found outdoor mindset, understood that our belief in community and outdoors was something that was going to help her manage that diagnosis. And she tells that story today, that outdoor mindset and the community, the folks around her were the folks that helped her kind of get through that, and just the mission, just the understanding and the hope that like this quality of life is still possible. She tells that story all the time. So for me, that's one of those things that we talk about a lot. That's an example. And one of the others, you probably talked to several fledgling nonprofits starting up, and
Yeah.
as many of us know, like your first donor is your mom or your family member, your first participant is a friend that you know. And I remember the first time that we had several years ago, someone that we had never met in our internal group join the community, get outside with us, and then say, I want to help and give back to the community and new members in the community, and then donate to the organization. Just showed that full life cycle of, hey, the mission is on point, keep going, right? Like this is someone that understands the value of it and they're enjoying and they want to give back to the community and even financially help. I mean, that's huge, right? It just shows validation that we're on the right track and we can do more and we can expand it and bring more folks in. So those are a couple of stories that came to mind. I have a couple other if we want to spend a couple hours, but I'll start with those.
First of all, thank you for sharing, and thank you for being so open and candid. And you said, I think, a little bit about expanding and getting and growing the community. So a lot of the times we have people listening to this podcast from the business community. The majority of the people who really interact with us at accessiBe are going to come from the business community, because they're the ones who, let's say, talking to us about installing the technology, partnering up. But for the business community to really cater best to the population who benefit from outdoor mindset, what is the kind of advice that you would give to them when it comes to access and inclusion?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first step is what we talked about earlier. Just try to get to a yes in terms of inclusion. You know, think about how broad the audience could actually be for people that are trying to tap into what we're doing. And so try to get to a yes, make things available, make accommodations where possible. And then for us, you know, personally, you know, if there's people, we've all been affected. You know, I used to have this conversation in pretty big rooms and say, who's been affected by a neurological challenge? And a couple people would raise their hand, and then I would describe it. Who's ever been diagnosed with Parkinson's, MS, epilepsy? A couple more hands, right? Who has family members or friends that have been diagnosed? A couple more hands. Who's a caretaker or a supporter of someone that's been diagnosed? Everyone raises their hands. Everyone in the room raises their hands. You know, it's like it's really crazy to see. And so I would just say like we've all been affected one way or another. And so where there's opportunity to direct folks to outdoor mindset, they can come to our website, join the community, tap into it, join a regional meetup group, and just get started. So those are the couple of things. I think about the possibilities, know that we can broaden and include more people, and then send folks our way if they have brain injuries or neurological disorders or diagnosis, and we're happy to tap into it and meet them.
I love that, Kyle. And you took the last question I was going to ask you right out of my mouth. I was
Hmm.
going to say, if somebody wants to partner up with Outdoor Mindset, get in touch with you. What's really the easiest way to get in touch and to partner up?
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, we're on the social media channels, right? So follow us, Facebook, Instagram. It's all Outdoor Mindset, really easy to watch. And then on our website, you know, if you're interested in joining the community, if you've been affected, you want to tap into community and into the outdoors, like you can just join right there on the website for free. If you're interested in partnering with us, if you're a business and organization that wants to partner with us, you could be a nonprofit. We just share our resources with each other. You can be a business looking to partner with us financially. You know, you mentioned growing our community. Elon, like our focus has never been incremental growth, right? Just for the sake of growth. Our focus has been the one person that joins tomorrow. How do we connect with them, hear their story, and help? So I'll say that's our focus. And nothing but benefits come from our community getting bigger, right? Because more people involved can help each other. So we're always growing our community. And so if there's folks coming our way and you know some business partners want to get involved and help us expand it and tell their story and partner with us, you can go right on our website, click partner, shoot us a note, and we'll get connected.
I love that, Kyle, and I think that's a really awesome way to kind of end the interview. I wanted to thank you, and we've been on this journey kind of together for a year now, so it's a really nice full circle moment. And again, we'll end the interview by shouting out to Johnny for connecting us, and looking forward to growing our communities together.
That's right, man. Elon, you and Johnny hop a flight, come to Hawaii. We'll spend some time in the water and hang out, and we'll call it business. How's
I love that. I'm gonna invoice the company right now.
that? Do it, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much for having us. We're super honored and appreciate everything that you do. Truly.
Awesome. Until next time. Bye.
Um,